If you've been painting for years and still feel stuck, it's probably not your skill level, it's just how you're practicing. This can be an uncomfortable thing for artists to talk about. We don't like admitting that a painting is not working, or there's failure, or we're frustrated. Art is supposed to be fun, right? Well, it also requires a bit of hard work and tenacity. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 key takeaways for becoming a better painter. So let's go through these concepts to help you get better. Step 1 is to practice with a strategic goal in mind. In this case, check out how I improved the layers in the landscape. Repeating the same mistake over and over again won't teach you anything about how to improve as an artist. With this painting, I've had to stop and identify what the issue was before I could fix the problem. This was a great learning painting for me because I really felt like by targeting layers moving into the distance was the key to unlocking the potential with this artwork. So if you're going to make 100 landscapes, reviewing the greens that you used to mix your tree greens or your grass greens, this could be really helpful. This idea of intentional change and small improvements can also translate into studies. Here's a collection of green studies that helped me to make larger paintings from the smaller works. These visual examples help to clarify this idea of making an intentional change on the artwork. So breaking down the elements that you are practicing, I think, is really helpful. But what if you're not sure of what level you're at or even what's wrong with your painting? In the beginning, creativity feels great, but art is not a linear process. I never know which one is going to be easy or which one is going to be hard to create. Sometimes this is very difficult to be objective about one's own work. Maybe you get the advice of, well, lay out 100 paintings and tell me which is your favorite and why. And maybe you really just have no idea. It actually helps me to look at an artist I really admire. I really like John Singer Sargent's work, and I've made a practice of studying a lot of his paintings, the originals in museums, and also his sketches. So by looking at his work, I could say, look, here's 100 Sargent paintings, and which one is my favorite and why? And then because I'm not talking about my own work, it kind of helps me to gain a little bit of insight, but it's one step removed from me personally. And it gives me ideas to try. Like, well, hey, I liked this painting of his, and gosh, it had a lot of texture. And I think I might want to try more texture next time in my paintings. I was really drawn to that, and that was a target point of that painting. So kind of pinpointing those specifics of what actually worked instead of, oh, that's a nice picture. We have to look deeper than that. Okay, point 2 is working very literally. I think of it kind of as the catalog brain, which is the list. It's like a big punch list you can read out. My painting has a tree with a trunk and branches and a stream and rocks. That's not the way to think artistically. When you have a punch list of individual items, they don't relate to each other. Artistic thinking is, I was painting at noon by the stream bed and the light was glittering off of the water. The water was rushing and it had a feeling of motion. Or you could use a term like, it was a very peaceful day. So this denotes time of day, light, a feeling. You can also describe your artistic intent as based on shape. I saw this striking collection of dark, and it was juxtaposed with a lot of light on the far bank. So reframing the literal concrete object and shifting that into creative language is a great way to go. Okay, point 3 is a big one, and that is just the discomfort. I'm doing my painting, it's rubbish, now what? That feeling of failure is like a big deal. So let's talk about some ways that you can overcome that. I do have a video that shares how to work past that and enter into a more creative state of flow. To make good art, We always have to ask ourselves not what other people are thinking, but how does that make you feel? And was that a good painting and a good painting process? Avoiding discomfort and embracing your own unique spin on a subject is all interrelated for me. Here's some examples. Let's say there's a peaceful river scene. Do you pick a view with the trees, or would you choose a wider open view of the river? And artistically, would you like to make a pencil study of some of this, or would you rather just do some color dots? And then if watercolor or graphite isn't your choice, perhaps you make an oil study on location, which lends itself to working later in a larger piece in the studio. Artistic creativity and individuality is important. So there is space for that in this video of learning how to get better. When in doubt, go back to the skill set, learn your tools. That's what we're talking about here. Build your skill set outside your comfort zone. But especially when you're starting out and trying to get better as an artist, you want to work within the skill set that you feel comfort in and then gradually work your way out instead of reaching to the furthest extreme and doing something that just doesn't feel true to your inner creative self. But if you always stay within that comfort zone, then you're not pushing the boundaries. So we do want a little bit of that learning. Maybe this could be ideas like simplifying more than you're used to in your paintings. I personally like a lot of complexity, so that is something that I've worked hard to do. Value, simplification, grouping, these are all things that sound really simple, but there's ways to study artists and get better at learning how to do that. Another idea might be pushing contrast further. That gets back to working with value, and there's a gray video that I've done that talks about value. Also the idea of warm and cool colors. So that could be contrast as well. And you can try changing your process or your media. I started out as a watercolor artist, and then I decided I wanted to try oil, which was definitely a challenge, but I'm really glad I made the switch. It was really important to my art journey to make that shift. Point 4 is no clear intent. I'm guilty as charged on that one. So I'm trying to get better about that. And if you have a really clear intent in the beginning, it can really push you forward to do a great painting. Professional artists working today would probably give the odds of 1 in 100 paintings is just effortless and flawless. There is still a process that they go through for most paintings. It doesn't mean that one is more successful and one is less successful. It's just one had extremely clear intent, the skill set was on point, the artist didn't get distracted, and we all love and relish those paintings. But the rest of the 99 out of 100, they just need some work, and to realize that part of it is that problem-solving process where things need to get done and not be afraid of the process. So clarity of intent could be this painting is about light and shadow, this painting is about time of day. There's different things that you can assign to the painting. And sometimes you can have 2 or 3 items, but it's better not to have a big laundry list because then it just gets too kind of, well, the painting is about everything, so how can it be specific and special about this one thing? So rein it in and try to have a target for your painting. Okay, tip 5 is such a big one. It's the idea of unity yet variety. This just means that you have unequal ratios in your artwork, and this can apply to so many different things. It can apply to shape, value, subject matter, layers in the landscape. Let's take a look at this beautiful painting of Monet and dig a little deeper into his structure to understand this unity yet variety concept. We have the feeling of serenity and calm, yet we do have, so that would be mostly peaceful, yet a little bit of pizzazz in this painting. Next up, we can look at the different shapes that he has. The interlocking shapes are unexpected. So he has a lot of variety in the shapes. Yet there's a unified aspect to the shapes because of their graphic nature. A lot of angular lines and a little bit of curved lines. It's a lot of nature and a little bit of man-made structure. Again, a lot of green and a little bit of other colors. When you're thinking about your painting and critiquing it, try to make a punch list of unity yet variety. Just an aside, it's super important to know what to leave out. So keep it simple. When in doubt, leave it out. Some of those mantras can be good advice. There's a lot of wonderful books out there on how to see and be creative. Here's a few of my favorites. The good news is that you move off the plateau. Hey, if some of this resonates with you, drop a comment in the area below. I'd love to hear what things you've worked through. And if you're interested in learning on a deeper level and watching more problem solving with students and live demos, I offer that in my online classes. So you might want to check that out. Do like and subscribe. It helps my channel grow. I really appreciate you guys being here. Thanks so much and happy painting.